name is Srinivas Govada. I am working as assistant professor in IARE college. Today we will see the temporary objects in SQL Server. Okay, let us get started. Temporary tables are mostly like apartment tables. Temporary tables are created in temp database and automatically deleted as soon as the last connection is terminated. These are temporary tables to store in temp tables, and unlike permanent tables, their existence will exist once the connection is terminated. Temporary tables helps you to store and process intermediate results. Why temporaries are required? To store and process intermediate results. Temporary tables are very useful when we need to store temporary data. Temporary tables are useful for storing the immediate result set access multiple times. For example, when you create a cursor you are trying to sort, trying to retrieve one record for each result set. Same way, when you are trying to access multiple times the same data, you can use the temporary tables. The syntax to create a temporary table is given below. To create a temporary table, create table name. This is a create table name. This is the regular way to create a table name. You will have to append with the hash. Hash means temporary. Okay. When you say create table hash EMP ID, EMP details having two columns, automatically the table is created. You see here, hash is created. It's a temporary table. Okay. Found in temp database, not in a user database. Temp table. Now, in order to insert into temp table, just follow the regular syntax how to insert into temp table hash table values. So get these values. So this is how we create a temporary table in SQL. Okay. There are two types of temporary tables. One is local temporary table, another is global temporary table. They are explained below. Local temporary table. A local temporary table is available only for the session that is created. It is automatically dropped, deleted, and the connection to the has been created lost. Local temporary table is only for the session that has been created. It is automatically dropped and the connection has been closed. To create a local temporary table, single hash is used as a prefix for the table. Earlier we have seen that single hash is local temporary table. Also, the user can drop this temporary table by dropping table hash EMP. They will be random numbers appended to the name of the table name. The temporary table is created within the stored procedure. It gets automatically dropped upon the completion of the stored procedure. Suppose you create a procedure. In this you created a temp table. In this you created a temp table. Automatically after this procedure is executed, the temp table will be dropped. Okay. Procedure is create table EMP insert into these values. Okay. So after this procedure is executed, you are executing procedure called procedure temp. And as soon as the procedure is complete execution, automatically your table will be dropped. Earlier we have seen single hash for global temporary variable. Now we will see the second global temporary. To create a global temporary, add the double hash before the table name. Okay, we will see. We add a double hash. Global temporary tables are visible to all the connections and dropped when the last connection reference to the table is closed. Global table name must have unique table names. There will be no random numbers sufficient at the end of the table names. Earlier we have seen that there was a random number appended. But in case of global thing, there will be no no numbers sufficed, and these will be dropped when the last connection reference table is closed. Okay, this is the global temporary table. Apart from this global, and we have something called table variable. Table variables are kind of variables that allows you to hold rows of data which are similar to temporary tables. Now we'll see something about table variables. These are nothing but variables which holds the rows of data. Now, how to declare table variable? To declare a table variable, you must use the declare statement as follows. Declare the table variable name, table column list. Okay, in this syntax, you specify the name of the table variable between the declare and the table keyword. You have to declare the table variable between the declare statement and the table. The name of the table must be start with @ symbol. The rule is that for creation of table variable, you have to provide the name of the table variable between declare and declare the table. Must start with @. Following the table keyword, you define the structure of the table variable, which is similar to structure of the regular table that includes column definition, data type, size, option, etc. Like you define a regular table column names, where column names in the names, data type, etc. But the only condition is that between declare and table name should have a table variable name followed. Should start with the @ symbol. Okay. The scope of table similar to local variables. Table variables are out of scope and at the end of the batch. If you define a table variable within a store procedure or use one function, the table variable will no longer exist after store procedure or function exists. Once you finish execution of procedures, automatically your table variable will also be cease to exist. Now we'll see an example of a table variable. For example, the following statement declares a table variable called as student view. Consists of 3 columns: std, name, and course. I said declare between table and declare. I have to give the table variable name, student view and table name, followed by its regular columns data types. Okay, this is how I declare the table variable. Right. This is clear, right? Now, if you want to insert the values into this, inserting data and variable, once declared table variable is empty, you can insert rows into table variable using the insert tools. Insert into, select from student view, you are inserting into the student variable. By this, you can insert into table variable. This table variable will have the records. Okay, querying the data from the table variables. Similar to the temporary table, you can query the data from the table variables. Select start from @student v underscore table, which is created here, right? @student underscore v table. So select start from @student table. Note that you need to execute the whole batch or you'll get an error. You have to execute this entire just if you write this and later you write this, you get an error. You have to execute all this at a whole batch. This is one batch. Okay. Now we'll see. We have seen how to create a table. We'll see we'll see there's some constraints on table variable. The restrictions of table variable. First, you have to define the structure of the table variable during the declaration itself. Unlike other regular table, you cannot alter the structure of the table variable. See, first you have to define structure. Once the structure is, you cannot alter like other tables. Secondly, the statistics helps the query optimizer to come up with a good query execution plan. Unfortunately, the table variables do not contain statistics. Therefore, you should use table variable to hold small number of rows. You should use table variables to hold column. Third, you cannot use table variable as input or output parameter like other data types. However, you can return a table variable from a user-defined function. Fourth, you cannot create non-cluster index for table variables. However, starting with SQL 2014, memory optimized table variables are available with the introduction of new in memory OLTP that allows you to add non-clustered index as a part of table declaration. Fifth, if you are using a table variable with a join, you need to use alias with the table in order to fetch a query. For example, this is your practice student view is the main table. Joining with a temporary table variable, you have to compulsory use a alias. If not, you get an error. The performance of table variables. Using table variables in a store procedure results in fewer recapitulations than using temporary table. In addition, table variables uses fewer resources than the primary temporary table with less locking and logging overheads. Similar to the temporary table variables do live in the temporary table, not in memory. Now we'll see one last thing is table type. This one last time is user-defined table type. The concept of user-defined table and table as in the SQL server, user-defined table type is a user-defined type that represents the addition of the definition of a structure. You can use the user-defined table type to declare the table value parameter for store process function. See, first we are getting a table type is create type state table as table type having 3 columns. Okay. Now, now after creating this table type, you see here user-defined table type, your table type is created state table having 3 columns. Now you create a procedure with taking this as a parameter. State table as it. Select state from @s order by state. Now, in order to use this function, this source procedure, declare p as state p, insert into 1 comma ap to sort states @p. So use table variable. Table type. This is table type. Okay. This completes the temporary objects in SQL.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.